Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, July 20th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarifications here. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, ticker symbol CVNA. Absolutely monster move today with that volume, and now a good setup here moving forward. And let me be very clear as I draw, especially this line in right here, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that that is a great discovery or a special discovery. Nothing like that. In fact, the exact opposite. You got to think that a lot of people are watching that level right there at $56. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So while there is no such thing as a guarantee, is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can come up here a little bit more and then get the break of 56, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible outcome. So keep an eye on that dynamic if you like to play breakouts, or maybe you like to play more so pullbacks. And a level here where you can see the price pulled back to several times right there at the $50 mark. You can see here, found some general areas right there where it found support. Once again this afternoon, found some general areas before returning back upwards. So like I said, if you prefer more so pullbacks, then $50 is another interesting level from that. But all in all, anyway, look at it. Big volume today, big price movement. So we'll see if the price can indeed get the break of that 56 mark. Next one here, ticker symbol GOEV, and we have once again one of these areas that I'll call a self-fulfilling prophecy point, and that is right here at the 80-cent mark. After today's information and data, you can see that now the price has really officially started to struggle around that area. Today was not the first time. If you go back and look at yesterday's movement, you can see right there essentially got rejected at 80 cents. And then you look at right there, again rejected. Now, I realize that the price did temporarily break above that area, but that did not last very long, and then back the price went back below that area. So from an intraday standpoint, a pretty brutal move, especially if you're the poor people that were buying up at that part of the chart. But taking a step back and not looking at things from such a narrow point, from the overarching standpoint, the trend is still plenty in the bullish direction. The easiest way to look at that is if you just consider where these lows have been. So if you go through the history and consider that there is a low there, and then a low there, and then a low there, and then a low there, and if you envision each one of those as stair steps, you can still see that from the big picture, the stairs are still progressing in the upwards direction. Again, I understand if you bought right there, you don't care about these stair steps, but that's why I'm trying to make it, just differentiate between a day trader and then somebody that cares more so about the bigger picture point of view. So yeah, today, pretty rough day, but overall, the trend remains up, and moving forward, definitely that 80-cent mark remains a key area of resistance. Next, CLBR, big movement here, and now the price has pulled back a little bit. So good to see that this very, very strong move here, in some ways straight up, has now begun to pull back a little bit. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. You can't get around the fact that after that pullback, there has been this little downwards, channel that has formed. But with all that being said, maybe you already see it right here. Essentially, what I've just drawn right there is a bull flag pattern. So if you like bull flags, then I definitely keep an eye on it. But just keep in mind, just because something, and I wish I could say trading was this easy, but just because there's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed, without question, the price is going to explode upwards if only it were that easy. My point here is that, yeah, it's pulled back a little bit, but it's not like that's wrecked the chart or anything like that. So keep an eye on that bull flag dynamic in terms of those of you that like to play more so pullbacks. Interesting pullback level right down there around that level at $13.50. So keep an eye on that. But if you were to push me into a corner and say summarize this very quickly, I would just say bull flag pattern. Next one here, NKLA, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the previous videos, but if you have, hopefully remember me talking about that red line of resistance because it has shown up once again today. So going into today, you had some data points already, but then you factor in that during the opening 30 minutes, price got rejected, tried again, right there got rejected, and then pulled back that much more. So from the self-fulfilling prophecy angle, you got to think that there's just that many more people now watching right up here around $2.75, give or take a couple pennies. Again, I would say that there was already people watching it, and you see that played out today. But now that there's been even a couple more data points where it's gotten rejected, like I said, you got to think that's kind of like a magnet that's just drawing in that many more eyes of potentially watching that 275 mark. So if you like to play those potential self-fulfilling prophecy type attributes, then definitely keep an eye on this one. From the support side of things and from the overarching standpoint, everything is still perfectly fine. The price is doing a fantastic job of staying up above the purple line there, which is the 50-period moving average. So like I said, sure, it's maybe a little annoying and frustrating that the price is really struggling with that level, but from the overarching standpoint, the price continues to put in those higher bases. Next one, ticker symbol AMC. And first off, the good news here is, and this will mean a tad more to those of you that watched the previous video, but been talking about that green line there, which is representing the $4.25 mark. And overall, the price is held above it, which is a good sign. Now, yeah, there's still a lot more work that needs to be done, but it at least is showing some signs of stabilizing here, whereas the sign of not being stabilized would be not only breaking below 425, but continue to break below it. But again, that it didn't even get tested today. So, of course, that doesn't mean that the price has for sure stabilized, but it's building more and more evidence that, okay, yeah, maybe this price has finally stabilized out, down around this range right here. And then on the flip side of things, now we have more data. Seems though in the very near term, that key level of resistance going to be right here at $4.40. So keep an eye on that if you go through and kind of have to look a little closer. But you can see that the price got rejected from it there, got rejected from it there. And then there in the last 30 minutes here, the price is somewhat closer there. But moving forward, $4.40 definitely going to be that initial area that needs to be broken. But on the bright side of things, like I said, at least the price is still just going sideways as opposed to, collapsing to the downside or anything like that. So it's hanging in there, and we'll see if this is indeed some sort of bottom or not. Real quick, I want to personally invite you to go get signed up for this free live online class. So if you've been enjoying what I've been talking about and want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely go get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. Or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely go get signed up for the free live online class. Next one here, ticker symbol LCID. Very, very nice move today during that opening 30 minutes, which is represented there by that big old green candle there. Sure, the price did pull back, so we have, once again, one of these situations where if you're some sort of day trader and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that angle, chart's looking pretty rough. But assuming you do care about the bigger picture of things, even with the pullback today, the chart's looking just fine. And out of curiosity's sake, I now want to get this trend line into place because it's looking like this could very well start to play a role moving forward. So let me change that to green to represent more of the support. So keep an eye on that. Or maybe you would disagree and say, Clay, that was very unnecessary. You could totally just use those moving averages right there, the pink line being the 200-period moving average and the purple line being the 50-period moving average. And I wouldn't disagree with that. I would say, yeah, you could potentially do that too. So at the end of the day, just do whatever makes the most sense in your mind. But nonetheless, I'm kind of curious about that trend line. So we'll see how the price, if it can honor and stay above that level or not. If the price does try to come back upwards, key area of resistance to watch on any sort of attempted move back up, right up there at $7.40. So keep an eye on that as that main area of resistance. Next one, PLTR, and very interesting day, and I drew this pattern into play in yesterday's video, and you can see right there, got the breakout, and wow, did the price just get a huge rip and roaring breakout. But you can see the rest of the story. The breakout completely failed, and back down it went. Now, I don't mean that in the sense of that the chart is completely ruined because it's still putting in higher lows. I just mean that this breakout has put the price. Now, think about where the price was before the breakout, right here. Look at where the breakout is now, or look at where the price is now, right there. Do you notice how the price has gone right back to where it was before the breakout? So does that mean that the entire chart's destroyed? No. Does that mean that this was just one nasty fake breakout? Absolutely. There is no true strength behind it, and that's a very easy claim to make because, well, breakouts with true strength don't all of a sudden go right back to where they started, right? They're going to continue to progress upwards. Not necessarily that they have to go straight up, but at least show signs of progress. But like I said, going right back to where it was, not exactly a sign of true progress. So like I said, and this is kind of a common theme here that yes, depending on where you bought, maybe this chart looks like a total train wreck, and I would understand that. But from the grand scheme of things, let me squeeze things down. You can see that the trend is still very much so in the upwards direction. Not the first time the price has had a deeper pullback or anything like that. I mean, you go back and look through the history, there is a pullback, turned out to be fine. There is a pullback, turned out to be fine. Now, does that mean this pullback will turn out to be fine? Of course not, but history does suggest that this pullback here is just healthy and part of the overall trend. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and I'm going to go through this one very quickly because you've already heard me say it. This is a common theme around the market that, yeah, things started off on the day very, very well, but for those people, those day traders that were buying up around there, yeah, now all of a sudden the chart looks pretty bad for you. But say it with me, for those people from the big picture point of view, everything is still perfectly fine because all that's happened here is a pullback that has played out from the later day action. So yes, there's this downwards channel, but from the bigger picture, you'd have to ask yourself, well, what was happening before this downwards channel? Well, you had this big move up right there, which is now giving me the ability to draw a bull flag pattern. And you can call it a bull flag. No arguments. I mean, the price is still above the 200-period moving average, still above the 50-period moving average. So yes, buying up there, not so good. But if you care about the bigger picture point of view, the overall trend is still plenty in the bulls direction. Next one here, VRM, and just a beautiful pattern. And as I've said already, I'm not trying to impress you by drawing this pattern. I think a lot of people have noticed this pattern, which therefore brings about potential self-fulfilling prophecies, because there's going to be a bunch of people watching the same exact pattern. So yes, when you get a lot of people watching the same things, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movement. So there we have, let me change it to one color, resistance, support, nice upwards move there. Golf hole down here, so this would be a bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants, you like stocks down below $5, keep an eye on it. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if the NASDAQ market goes up, this one will also go up. It just allows you access at a much lower price point, which makes it a very popular ETF. And like a lot of the stocks, started off on the day, very nicely, was making a move upwards, and then did have this later day pullback. But overall, the thing is still very clearly in the upwards direction. Although I will say that another new kind of very well-defined area of resistance has arisen right up here at the $47 mark. Let me change that to red. And you can see just whenever the price got up around this area, it just struggled and, could never really maintain or sustain any sort of momentum at all. Not saying that that can't occur in the future, but that was clearly the track record today. 47 cents just kind of, soaked the life out of it whenever it would get up around that area. As far as pullbacks are concerned, nothing new here to report. Still that key level from right there, 45.35, which is, where the previous level of support was at right there. And you actually can't even see it, but if you look behind that green line, the purple line has actually crept itself, or pun intended, moved itself right in front of that area right there. So you basically have a double whammy right there at 45.35 as support. But overall, yeah, a bit of a pullback today, but big picture wise, the trend is still very clearly upwards. But if you like breakouts, keep an eye on 47. If you like to play more so pullbacks, 45.35 is interesting. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, then definitely go get signed up for that free class. It'll be Thursday. There we go. Well, now I messed that up. There we go. Thursday, July 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So very, very soon. I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these sorts of videos, please do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a comment, say hi, give me a smiley face. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But hitting the like button, leaving a comment, help out the channel, communicate to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know you are enjoying, I will continue to do these top 10 videos. So go get signed up for that free class. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. Take care.